you think you do? I know more than you, that's a sure thing, Maddy snapped. Girls, Nanny Gruen said, and Maddy felt a flush cover her face. She was being childish scrapping with her 19-year-old sister when she needed to be cool and controlled if she was going to succeed in their investigation. Sorry, Nanny, she muttered. You should be apologizing to your sister. As Sophie began to smirk, Nanny turned to her. And you should apologize right back, missy. The two of you. I wonder if you remember anything I taught you. Maddy crossed the small room and gave Nanny a kiss on her cheek. Sophie stuck her tongue out at her when Nanny couldn't see, but Maddy ignored it. Sorry, baby sister, she said. It's easy to forget you're a grown-up. That was just barbed enough to satisfy her annoyance. But neither of you are changing my mind. Remember the note Father left? It said never trust a pirate. Captain Morgan isn't a pirate, Sophie said, plopping herself down beside Nanny on the worn sofa. A cloud of flour billowed out from her peach-striped gown. He was a privateer at one point in his long and checkered career, but he was hardly swinging a cutlass and making people walk the plank. You've read too many novels. You're the one who steals them from under my bed, Maddy retorted. And I have no illusions about Captain Morgan. I've met other captains Father employed. They're old, weather-beaten, and have no use for women. Given what we know of Captain Morgan, I expect he's ancient, at least 40, and dull and dry. But there was a reason Father distrusted him, and I intend to find out why. We need to look at the facts clearly, without emotion. It appears as if Father embezzled a fortune from Russell Shipping, the very company he founded, ran off with the money, and then conveniently died on Dartmoor, with no sign of the money left behind, no word to his daughters. But why would he be heading for Devonport? If he'd simply been trying to escape from England, he would have left from Dover. The captain is the obvious one to investigate first. I don't know why Bryony decided to bother with Kilmartin. Because Kilmartin was right there in London, you ninny, Sophie said, and the Dark Viscount is right here. It makes no sense to go herring off. I'm not herring off. This is a well-thought-out plan, and I've even had Mr. Fulton's assistance. Our useless solicitor. What's he done besides tell us that we're penniless and disgraced and will never marry? Maddy could feel a nerve tick in her jaw. We'll marry, she said grimly. You'll have men falling at your feet, and they won't care what our father did. But first I'm going to find someone titled and very wealthy, a baronet at the very least. Lord Eastham's been writing me letters, you know. He's got more than enough money to clean up our reputations. But he's so old. And what about Tarkington? Won't he come back once he thinks about it? Sophie said in a worried voice. Maddy kept her face expressionless, ignoring the pain in her heart. Tarkington is gone forever, and Godspeed. I've decided if I have to marry for the good of my family, it might as well be someone with a title and a bit more money. I rather thought that was my job, Sophie said. You're quite beautiful, Maddy, but you know I outshine you. People tend to prefer sweet, witless blondes to dark-haired viragos. I am not a virago. Maddy was outraged. Girls, Nanny said again, this time in a pleading voice. You're giving me a headache. Must you always bicker? Things will be much more peaceful when I'm gone, Nanny, and by the time I return we can all leave and get out of your hair. Now, Miss Madeleine, you know perfectly well I don't want that, Nanny Gruen said stoutly. You can stay here as long as you like, for the rest of your lives if you wish. Don't worry, you won't be stuck with us that long. It's going to be fine. Mr. Fulton owes me a favour after his total uselessness with Father's estate. He happens to be acquainted with Captain Morgan, and he heard he was in need of a maid of all work. So I had Mr. Fulton tell him he knew just the girl. You didn't, Sophie breathed, her bright eyes round. I did, and I know I can trust Mr. Fulton not to betray who I am. He feels guilty. You could marry him and forget all this nonsense, Nanny Gruen said sternly. He's a good-looking young man with prospects. A solicitor's a respectable profession, not like a shopkeeper or something. I have no intention of marrying anyone who has to work for a living, Maddy said firmly. If I don't choose Lord Eastham, then I'll find someone with at least £20,000 a year and a title to boot. I'm not throwing myself away on a penniless solicitor. Sophie sighed dramatically. Haven't I already told you I'm the logical one to marry a title? You're already 22. Maddy resisted the completely childish urge to pinch her sister hard. Then we can both marry titles. The more the merrier, and I'm hardly at my last prayers. Do you suppose Bryony really married Lord Kilmartin? Sophie said, clearly not realizing her